RJ, how have you think you've gotten better this season? You've been very consistent. It seems like in almost every game. Where do you think you improved the most from the end of last year to right now?
Definitely want to say my leadership. I feel like that's been consistent throughout the whole year. And just me being confident with my work ethic this past off season, this summer, and even leading up to the season. I've been pretty consistent staying in the gym and just, having a good mental space. And I feel like me being confident within my work and myself and believing in myself has gave me the ability to be consistent. And having the trust of my coaching staff as long as with my teammates, that definitely gives me a big uplift. And I have a lot of goals set, so just kind of being a winner and revisiting my goals kind of just keeps me in the path where I need to be.
Anything on the court you think it's gotten a little bit better at? Better shooter, better rebounder? Anything in particular you think you improved on?
Yeah, definitely. My shooting, I think like early in the season it hasn't, I was kind of bothered with a little finger injury, but now I'm kind of like shooting at a high clip where I normally able to shoot at. And as far as the rebounding, I know it might be like kind of new to you guys, but it's always been an underrated part of my game that has been I've been doing since I was little. So.
And kind of on the note of leadership, are there any younger players in particular that you've kind of taken under your wing?
Seth, Tyler, Trez, DeMarco, all Jalen, all the younger guys. Just to help them. I was once in their shoes as freshmen and sophomores, just to help guide them, through the tough times, through the good times, and just kind of be there to help them through, anything if they have questions or even though they're doing well or they're doing wrong, just to guide them because I was in their shoes and I was, for me personally, I didn't really have a veteran like point guard or guards. I was my freshman year, I kind of just like threw into the fire, so I'm just trying to help them figure it out as well.
RJ, how have you seen Armando kind of develop leadership-wise from your freshman year till now?
I mean, he's definitely stepped up as one of our leaders. He's being more vocal. He knows that we need him. So his leadership of not just vocally, but just like his actions, leading by example for the younger guys, because they look up to him, and so we need that from him. And he's been doing a great job, since his freshman year now to being a senior. I'm super proud of him.
RJ, do you feel like that defense you guys played the last 10 minutes or so versus Wade can carry over? And were you even surprised by just how much that kind of changed the way you guys played?
I mean, we showed that we could do it, so now I think we actually have to do it the last 10 minutes of that game. We were aggressive, we showed some presence, and I feel like you need to carry that over for a full 40 minutes of a game. We showed that we can do it, so we actually have to bring it over into the game, starting on tomorrow morning.
Going back to Armando, he said he had some interesting things to say after the Pitt game. And he said that some of those words resonated with you guys. He thought that you guys really heard him and kind of how he described his dissatisfaction with how that game played out. When he says those kinds of things, do you guys hear it from just through the media, or does he say the same thing to you guys when the doors are closed?
I mean, I think it's amongst the locker room. I don't think it's just one person. Everyone gives like their insight of the way we're supposed to play and the way we weren't playing. And we definitely heard, him is definitely like in the locker room. It was definitely addressed of how we were playing. So I'm pretty sure that got through to everyone, and we wanted to change the narrative.
Is his voice the loudest, for lack of a better term, or are there several of you that are kind of even in that sense of having profound voices in the locker room?
No, there's definitely several of guys that are loud and they give their insight of what we need to be, and I think that's what brings us so close. And it just shows how much like leaders we have. There's never just one voice or one person just talking. Everyone chimes in and talks about what we did right, what we did wrong, how can we move forward. And I think it's just great to hear. Not just from like the starting five. It could be like Dewey, Creighton, Jackson. I think that would just makes us such a good team.
Last year, it seemed like that loss against Pittsburgh at home was part of the reason why you guys were able to, get things going and rolling into the tournament. Do you see any parallels between the loss at Pitt and last year's loss in terms of how you guys have reacted and moving forward?
I mean, yeah, 100%. My main thing is just not try to get too satisfied and, not take a step back. I feel like we always get, at a point where we feel like we have it, and we just take a deep breath and let up. And, kind of just, the key theme of just being tired of, letting teams back into the games and not giving our full 100% effort. Because, we're super talented, but it's just more about, playing with that, enthusiasm every night. And it's kind of like, when we lost last year against Pitt and again this year, it kind of just, changed a little bit, and it's kind of like a turning point a little bit.
How do you maintain consistency? Like, you don't have the ebbs and flows in games. Like, what is the key to this team to play at the high level consistently every game for every half?
I mean, I think it starts in practice. I'm a big believer in you practice the way you play, and I feel like the way we practice, if you're if you're working on your game, then you kind of just locked in mentally and trusting each other, trusting the process. I feel like that leads to consistency. I feel like in practice, there's times when we're playing with effort and we're playing so hard that it translates over into the game, and you guys see that because that's what we've been practicing all week. So that's my thoughts on it.
You guys always get people's best shot, being UNC, but are you feeling it even more so this year, given going to the championship, everybody that came back, the hype that surrounded? Are you seeing that, hearing that even from other teams, talking trash on the court, things like that of that nature?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we knew what was expected coming into this year, just the the hype around the team and playing against great teams. We knew the type of energy that was going to be brought to us, because we kind of brought this upon ourselves, and we're going to play against teams that are highly competitive and looking forward to get after us. So knowing that and knowing that we're going to give everyone their best shots, we have to be prepared as a team as well.
RJ, the Notre Dame game last year was, the loss in South Bend seemed like a game that you guys were really, really down after. Have you gone back and revisited that game in the lead up to tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, we watched a couple of clips and then, we emphasized on how, poorly we played last year and kind of just, build off what we did against Wake Forest leading up to Notre Dame because, they're a good team as well. So if we just, lock in on the key points that we emphasize in practice, and we'll be more than fine.
RJ, you were going back to after the Pitt game. I think you said something like, "We always say we're right there. We always say right there. Well, if we have the pieces that we have, why wouldn't we just go ahead and get there?" Kind of like what Ross asked you. Like, has some of the inconsistencies that you guys have had to deal with, has that been like the biggest surprise for you this year? Like, did you not expect some of the valleys to pop up for you guys?
I mean, I definitely, I wouldn't say it's going to be a perfect season. I definitely expected some, obstacles and some ups and downs, but definitely, you kind of, shocked a little bit with the inconsistency just because of how much of a veteran team we have and we're so talented. So it kind of was just back to what I was saying, we're right there, but, why do we have to be right there when we know what we're capable of? So I think just being consistent, not getting too complacent, too satisfied with just one win or however many wins we may win. Just to keep building and dig deeper each game.
One
or two more? Sure.
Yeah, just kind of wanted to ask about, we were talking with Coach Davis about how Caleb Love, maybe he's not shooting great from the perimeter, but, he can defend and do other things to impact the game. You're on the court there with him. Can you just speak to how, when maybe he's not having the best shooting night, other ways that he is impactful in the game?
I mean, yeah, Caleb's a great player, and we know what he's capable of. He just score the ball and shoot the ball really well, and that's what we're gonna need from him. But as you said, there's other ways that he has impacted the game defensively. He did a tremendous job against Wake Forest. His impact on the ball, off the ball. We definitely needed that, and that's something that we're gonna need for the rest of the season. And I told him you're gonna be good. The shots are gonna fall. I'm not too worried about that because he's taking great shots. So he's gonna continue to be the player that we know he's gonna be.
The other night was a little bit of a breakout game for Seth in a way. What does he bring to this team that maybe you didn't have last year? You can talk about the past, but Seth wasn't on this team last year. So what does he do for this group?
I mean, yeah, Seth, he's been phenomenal for us. His impact off the bench kind of like a spark plug. And the way he defends the ball, he brings energy. The way he gets downhill, he's so quick. Always telling you can literally just go by anyone and get down to the hill, and you're so athletic you can finish at the rim. So his ability, I feel like last year we didn't have another ball handler that could play the ball, on the ball. And that is definitely something that we need, definitely if I need a break, I know that, we have Seth coming in, and then, harass other defenders, so.
RJ,
Last one.
is there any difference for you between shooting, coming off the screen, stepping into one, and just being all alone at the three-point line?
Mhm.
In terms of how you shoot it, or what's your favorite, is it, and what you look at, it's just instinctive, or what is it for you?
I mean, for me, I know like I'm a great shooter, so, but I also looked at percentages. I know like when I was shooting on the line, I was probably like 40% plus, and it was very efficient. So me just knowing that, just trying to get to the line, to the three-point line, and I know I can shoot, catch and shoots, and coming off a screen. And I feel like for me, like my favorite is probably like catch and shoot, just because I know I could really shoot the ball really well and be efficient from that. So just knowing that, just try to get those more catch and shoots more.
So you have percentages about where you take the shot from?
Yeah, I looked at the percentages from like if I'm shooting on the line, if I'm taking like a foot and a half off the line, I see all of those. So it kind of just helps me see visually how I can improve.
Who does that for you?
Yeah,
Who does that?
where do you get those numbers?
Me and Coach Lebo, we looked at it together.
How do you get them? How do you get the numbers?
I'm not sure. I think it's just through
Is
watching
it a
the game.
synergy thing?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Thanks, RJ.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate